Hi guys, welcome to Learn Tech from Zero. Today we will be covering further CCNA topics, and today's topic will be controllers. So let's start with controllers. So what is a controller? A controller is a central system hardware or software that manages and automates network devices. Instead of configuring each device, the controller pushes settings to all devices. Think of it like a remote control for your network. Real example. Okay, all right. So what is a controller? So controller is a software, or it can be a hardware. So the purpose of the controller is to manage a lot of devices from one central place. So instead of, for example, let's say you have um, 10 routers or 10 switches. So instead of you configuring them one by one, you configure them using a software or a hardware which has a software within it, where you have a centralized system like a dashboard, like an application, where you can control and you can apply changes and policies and configurations to those devices from that one place. So the purpose of the controller is to get rid of configuring or fixing devices one by one, but controlling, basically pushing all the changes and settings from a software. That's what a controller is. But when I say the software, it can be a software installed on your computer, or it can be a dedicated hardware, like a completely separate hardware, and that hardware only works as a controller for managing, like, let's say thousands or hundreds and thousands of devices. So that's the actual term. Th- so this is what controller is. Okay, let's just go with the next topic, which is called SDN. So what's SDN? So SDN is the software defined networking. It is both a concept and an architecture. So, and the controllers, they use the SDN concept, the idea, and the architecture, SDN architecture, to manage those devices. So basically controller is just a term so that it can manage different devices, but SDN is the actual concept, the architecture behind the controllers. So it's a concept. So the concept is, yes, the concept means it's an idea. So yes, you will be controlling many devices from one place rather than you configuring them one by one. So that's the idea. And the architecture is, the controller makes the decision and devices simply forward packets. So what it means is, the architecture is, when you have the SDN, the software defined networking architecture in place, so the SDN, like, it's the software basically will make the decisions for all those devices, switches, routers, firewalls, access points. So it will make the decisions for all those devices, and those devices will only work based on how it's configured on the SDN architecture. So architecture is like the design of the network, where there is a software, like a SDN software or a hardware is in place, and all the many multiple devices are being managed with an SDN. So that this is what SDN means. So software defined networking is SDN. So we will go into SDN. So controller is just a term. You control everything. SDN is the concept, the idea behind the controllers. And now we will go into what kind of SDN we have, like software defined networking, the architecture, like how many, the types of SDNs that we have, like the types of controllers that we have that we can manage different devices or different systems or different designs. Let me give you, so I don't want to go into too much details because the video gets like 30-40 minutes long on TikTok. So I'm just going to make it as short as possible. But if you want to learn in details, or if you have any questions, you can leave a comment, or if you want to learn in details, you can just go to our website, which is Learn Tech from Zero. We will also have the videos on YouTube as well. All right, so let's just go with the next part, which is the types of SDN, like the types of controllers. So the example of SDN in action. So the software defined networking. So SDN means software defined networking. So networking is when, when devices communicate with each other, and then SDN means software defined. So when the devices are communicating with each other, a software defines it. So a software, like a dashboard, a system that basically defines how the network should run. So this is what SDN means. All right, so the types of SDN we have. So all the types that you have, wireless LAN controller, we covered this in the previous video when we covered about access points. So wireless LAN controller, wireless LAN controller, WLC, LAN controllers, SD-WAN, cloud controllers, they are all a part of SDN controllers. So when we say SDN controller, software defined controllers, that concept covers wireless. When we manage wireless access points, which we covered in the previous video, you can check access points right there. You will find more about WLC in this video. All right, so the types of controller, the software defined controllers that we have, we will just go into details now. So what normally a SDN controller does is basically you can manage a LAN. LAN means a private area. I have covered LAN in detail, so you have to check our other videos. I can't be explaining every single topic in easy languages in every single video, because then the videos will get really long. So if you really want to learn computing, internet, networking, computer science in general, and from scratch, then you have to follow me and you have to watch every video that I make, and then you should be able to catch up. So a LAN is basically a private area that you can control. So basically anything that's private, I don't want to go into too much details. WAN is external, like the internet area. So LAN is your home environment is LAN, and external internets are, external networks are LAN. Like for example, when you are accessing internet, you are accessing WAN. And then you can manage LAN, you can manage WAN, you can manage cloud computing, and you can manage that data centers with SDN controller. So these are the type of controllers that we have. Let's just go jump into the first one, which is wireless LAN controller, WLC. We have already covered in the previous video, but I will just quickly tell you. So wireless LAN controller is basically, at home you have one router, right? But in big areas, to cover a large area, a one router is not enough. So you have multiple access points that gives you internet, wireless internet. And if you don't have WLC, like the WLC, a software to control all these access points, then you will have to do it every single one of them individually. So this is going to create a lot of work. So if you have just one software, you can manage all these access points for accessing wireless internet from your mobile laptop. And like for example, let me just give you a quick example. Like for example, when you are at the airport, right, and when you connect to the Wi-Fi, right, let's say you moved from the check-in area to the sorry, the guest area to the check-in area, and then when you're about to board, you can see that your internet is still there, even though you have walked a lot of areas that you have covered. It's such a big area, but you are still connected to the same Wi-Fi, because that's where the access points come in. You connect from different access points, or your basically your phone or your laptop will connect to different access points because they all have the same configurations. If you want to know more in details, watch the access point videos. And then, so with the WLC, so as a software defined networking controller for controlling access points, which is WLC, we can manage access points. We can configure the SSID name, service set identifier. So SSID is the name of your route, the Wi-Fi access point. So when you go to airport, and let's say you are at Heathrow Airport, London Heathrow Airport, and the name of the free Wi-Fi is called Heathrow free Wi-Fi. So this is the SSID, the one that you have at your home. You have a name for your Wi-Fi. That's SSID. So you can configure SSIDs to multiple access points. You can push securities WPA2, WPA3, which we will cover later on. Securities is how the communication should occur, how the connection should occur, so that if someone is trying to hack, or if there is a data breach or anything, you are still safe under, let's say, with encryption and other technologies. We will cover them later on. Handle roaming between access points. So roaming means when you are in one area and you are connected to one access point, and then you move to a different area, so the previous access point signal gets weaker, and then you connect to the next access point. So this is what we call is roaming. So you will not lose internet connection when you are at the airport, because when you are connecting to different access points, that system, that concept is called roaming. All right. So that's what wireless control or LAN controller. You can control a lot of access points. LAN controller. So so controllers can be LAN controllers as well. So LAN controllers means you are controlling a private area. You need to know what LAN is. I can't be explaining every single time. So check if you want to know what LAN is. I think I've covered in routers layer 2. There are other videos, but later on I will maybe make a video about LAN WAN in detail, so you actually understand what's a LAN and what's a WAN is. All right. So you can cover a private area. So for example, let's say your workplace, you have like 10 routers, or sorry, 10 routers or 10 switches. You have like 100 offices. To Instead of you configuring and fixing every single routers or switches, you use a LAN controller to control all these switches and all these routers and etc. And so that you can also push VLAN management. VLAN is something, if you don't know, we will cover it. We have already covered. We will cover it again later in the future. But right now we are only talking about controllers and how they work. So you can basically push configurations like VLAN management, switch router configuration, automation, security and monitoring. You can push all these from the LAN controllers. Like for example of a LAN controller is a Cisco DNA Center. So if we just type Cisco DNA Center, is a Cisco catalyst, the centralized network controller. It's like a software that you can control. Cisco. Okay, let's see. So you can see it's like a software that you can control all these switches and devices from one central place. Like you can control from one laptop. You can literally control everything, all the switches on all the routers. All right. Next one is SD-WAN. We don't want to go too much detail, so it's CCNA level. So SD-WAN is software defined wireless. So here we are basically controlling private switches, routers, and pushing configurations to those switches and routers. So SD-WAN is when you are connecting to different networks, external networks. Let's say you have one office in one area, and then you have another office in a different city, and then you have the third office in a different country. you can literally connect those networks together, and you can push configurations called with the SD-WAN controller. Example, let's see if there is any name we have for SD-WAN controllers. We don't need to know too much in details. You just need to know what is a controller. I don't think I have mentioned supports, or I don't think I have mentioned a name, but if you just search SD-WAN controllers, you should be able to find some. So SD-WAN, software defined wireless wide area network. So software defined wide area network. So you can basically, when different networks connect together, like for example, your other office is in a, let's say your other branch is in a different city, and then the next branch is in another country, though, because these are external networks, they normally communicate and connect through routers, because these are externals. When you communicate within a LAN, like a private area network, you normally communicate using a switch. But when it's external, when we're talking about WAN, we are basically connecting different branches from different cities and countries, and you can actually manage those routers using SD-WAN controllers. Let's just stick to this. If you want to learn more, just go to the website and then read all about it. If you have any questions, leave a comment, because if I start explaining every single thing, it's going to get too long. All right. So SD-WAN is for SDN, for software defined networking for WANs, mainly about controllers managing routers in wide area networks. Wide area networks means anything that's outside your LAN. So connecting different external networks. All right. The next one is called cloud controllers. So a cloud controllers is something that you go on the browser and you manage it. So you don't have a software, or you don't have a dedicated hardware. You basically, what you do is, the software is based on the website, and you go to the website and you can manage everything from the cloud controller. So cloud controller is not specific to LAN, WAN, or switch, or routers. Cloud controller is basically everything that we have covered here, but you can access them on a browser. Like for example, we have one, a really powerful cloud controller is we call Cisco Meraki. This is what we use in our workplace environment. So when we go to Cisco Meraki, it's a cloud platform. So if I just say Cisco Meraki login, and then so that's the dashboard. So that's we are logging into a cloud controller. So I can literally log in using my admin account, and then I should be able to configure switches, routers. I should be able to configure access points. I should be able to configure and change CCTV cameras, so etc. So you can manage everything on a cloud platform. So if you just quickly see what the definition, the cloud, hosted in the cloud. Cloud means the internet, and then example is Cisco Meraki dashboard that I just showed you. Benefits is manages sites worldwide from one dashboard. So you can be anywhere and you can manage everything just going to just by visiting online. Automatic updates, access anywhere via browser, etc. So I think we will not make it too long. We will just finish the video for now. But if you have more any questions, make sure that you leave a comment. And there's just something that we have missed is about, just one second, we have something that we missed about access point, sorry, wireless LAN controller for controlling access points. So there are two types of access points. So one is called autonomous access points. So basically it's just one single access point which is connected to a switch or router to give wireless connectivity to mobile and phones, and it's a standalone configured directly by IP address. So normally what happens is you type the IP address of that single autonomous access point, just one single device, the IP address. You log into the IP address and then you just configure it one by one. So if you have autonomous access points, which means you have to configure them one by one, every single one of them individually, by visiting their IP addresses on a browser. Like, you can find the IP addresses on of that access point, and you just type it like that. You log in, and then you log in with the IP and ID and password, and you should be able to manage that single device individually. Lightweight access point are the which is something that we control. So two types of access points: autonomous access point that we control individually. Lightweight access point is something that we control using wireless LAN controller. So you basically you log all these lightweight access points. They're connected to the wireless LAN controller. It could be 50, 100 of them, and you can control all of them you just using one software or system. If you have found anything confusing, if you have any questions, just leave a comment, and I will be back with the next topic, which is endpoints. Endpoint simply means end devices, like a mobile computers. So I will get back to you. You should not get scared with all those technical terms. They just simply I can give you the real life examples and real life terms to make it to simplify the whole concept for you. So I'm here to make your IT journey very easy. If you are new, you don't understand anything, you don't even have any IT qualifications, or you struggle with understanding technology, I'm here to help you. So follow me, stay with me during this journey, and we should be able to help each other out. Thank you.